Good afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our London studio. I'm Chris Taylor. We begin with escalating tensions between Iran and the United States, as Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has attributed decades of mistrust between the two nations to deep-rooted historical and political factors. In an open letter addressed to the American public, President Pezeshkian pointed to the 1953 coup and continued U.S. sanctions as key sources of friction. He also criticized past American support for former ruler Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, as well as backing for Saddam Hussein, saying these actions intensified hostilities. The Iranian president went further, questioning recent U.S.-Israeli military actions and their consequences for civilians. He rejected claims that Iran acts as an aggressor, stating that the country has not initiated war in modern history. Despite the tensions, he emphasized that Tehran holds no hostility toward the American people and called for a reassessment of current U.S. policies. Meanwhile, diplomatic engagement continues behind the scenes. U.S. President Donald Trump and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan have held a telephone conversation to discuss ongoing regional developments. According to Emirati state media, both leaders reviewed the serious implications of rising tensions on global peace and international security. They also exchanged views on the potential risks to maritime routes and the wider global economy. The call comes amid growing international concern about instability in the Middle East and its far-reaching consequences. In a significant escalation, Israel has claimed responsibility for carrying out more than 400 airstrikes on infrastructure in Tehran over the past 2 days. The Israeli military says approximately 650 munitions were used, targeting what it described as Iranian regime infrastructure. Warplanes reportedly conducted extensive overnight operations across multiple sites in the capital. Israeli officials further claim that nearly 15 weapons production facilities were hit, including a central complex linked to Iran's defense ministry. However, these claims have not yet been independently verified, and the situation on the ground remains unclear. For more on diplomatic developments, we go to Islamabad, where our correspondent Sarah William is following the latest. Sarah.
Thank you, Chris. Sources indicate that U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has recently engaged with intermediaries from Pakistan regarding the ongoing Iran conflict. According to reports, the communication took place as recently as Tuesday and reflects Washington's interest in exploring diplomatic pathways. Acting on directions from President Donald Trump, Vance is said to have signaled openness to a ceasefire, though only if specific U.S. conditions are met. At the same time, he reportedly issued a warning that increased pressure on Iranian infrastructure could follow if no agreement is reached. These back-channel efforts underscore the urgency of de-escalation amid mounting regional tensions. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Sarah William, reporting from Islamabad. Turning now to developments along Israel's northern border, the Israeli military says 48 of its personnel have been wounded in the past 24 hours during clashes in southern Lebanon. The injuries include both officers and soldiers engaged in ongoing fighting near the border. The military also confirmed that since the escalation involving Lebanon and Iran, at least 10 Israeli soldiers have been killed and more than 300 injured. The figures highlight the intensifying conflict and the growing human cost of the regional crisis. In another development, U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly threatened to halt weapons supplies to Ukraine unless European allies agree to join a coalition aimed at reopening the Strait of Hormuz. According to reports, Washington is linking continued NATO weapons support for Ukraine to European participation in securing key maritime routes in the Gulf. Officials say the move reflects broader U.S. efforts to rally international partners behind strategic initiatives, particularly as tensions in the Middle East begin to impact global trade and energy security. And finally, 15 European foreign ministers have expressed deep concern over the worsening situation in Lebanon. In a joint statement, ministers from countries including Belgium, Ireland, Spain, and Italy said they were appalled by the escalating conflict. They reported that approximately 1.2 million people, around a quarter of Lebanon's population, have been internally displaced, while more than 1,000 people, mostly civilians, have been killed. The ministers condemned Hezbollah's attacks on Israel and called for an immediate ceasefire, as well as disarmament in line with United Nations resolutions. They also urged urgent international action to protect civilians and restore stability in the region. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.